Hi there, Sugar Snaps. I want to share with you the process of gathering materials to natural dye. There are a couple things that you can use for natural dyeing. One of those is leaves. You can use flowers like these calendula, berries or fruit, kitchen scraps like these avocado pits and skins. So when harvesting materials, you want to work with the seasons. You want to work when things are at their peak in order to get the best pigment from that material. So we'll start with flowers. Flowers are easy to gauge because you pick them, you harvest them when they are blooming. So depending on what season of the year the flower or the plant is in bloom, that's when you're going to want to harvest the material and use it fresh, because that's when you'll get the best dye pigment from the flowers. Leaves are best in late spring and early summer. That's when the leaves start to bud out in trees or plants and the leaves begin to grow. That's when they're the freshest and they'll have the most pigment option. There are lots of leaves that you can use. Fruit is another obvious one. Whenever it is at its peak ripeness, that's when you want to pick it. These are frozen blackberries that I have saved, but picking and using them right away is the best time. Cherries, berries, other fruits like that at their peak. You can use materials like avocado and red cabbage and things like, and beets, things like that you would use in your kitchen, things that you eat, the food scraps, and those play with those throughout the year, because wherever they are grown, their peak season will be different depending on where they're grown, and so at different times of year they'll produce slightly different colors, so experimenting with that is good. Nuts are best harvested when they fall from the tree, whether that's the horse chestnut husks or acorns or walnuts. Harvest them in fall as they fall to the ground. You can pick them up off the ground. For roots, you'll want to harvest in the late fall after their growing season, and only harvest less than half of the root system of a plant if you want the plant to last through the harvesting process. So when you go to harvest your roots, you want to carefully dig around the root system of the plant and then cut off bits of the root as you find them. And this is often done with madder or madder root, which is a red dye. You harvest part of the roots and you can use that for a dye material. You can also use certain types of bark, and that is best harvested in late winter and early spring as the sap in the bark begins to flow as it starts to warm up outside. And that will be different depending on what area of the world you are in or what area of the world the tree that you're harvesting from is growing in. So just keep that in mind. The bark will produce the best color at that time of year. So I hope you have fun harvesting your natural dyeing material. It's a cool thing to go out and harvest things for yourself in order to dye with them. Discovering what grows in your area, what you can harvest in your area, and what you can grow in your own garden is a great way to connect to the plants and materials that you use for natural dyeing, and just be more in the process of what it is you're using. And be aware of how much it is you are harvesting. You want to leave enough for the wildlife in the area. Also be aware when you are harvesting of what land you are harvesting off of, preferably your own. If you're harvesting on public land, make sure there aren't any regulations or laws about doing so. And if you want to harvest off your neighbor's property, be sure to ask before you do that. There's also dye plants that you can buy from suppliers online. Like I have a bag of weld here, some madder, which is a root, cochineal, which is a bug, and Osage orange, which is the wood of a tree. I hope you have fun harvesting. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, subscribe below and check out my website, Textile Indie, where I share more basket weaving, natural dyeing, and other fiber art tutorials and resources. Thanks.